in the ditch.
A band of snow on the run sweeping across South Muskoka today appears set to break this afternoon following a furious flurry this morning. A hint of sun after midday Tuesday offers hope that the worst is over in the most recent winter punch. The latest Georgian Bay Lake effect that began around midnight today continued with at least 20 to 30 cms falling for more than about a dozen hours. Approaching noon, it was falling so fast visibility was short-sighted, yet traffic continued on difficult, but somehow passable roads for many who dared to venture out. A collision on Highway 11 southbound at the north exit 175, ramp to Bethune Drive and Doe Lake Road in Gravenhurst closed the right lane and right shoulder. And transports once again got stuck on municipal roads in town, including at least one that had to be towed up the hill on Bay Street from Lake Muskoka. Plows have since gotten out, including a sidewalk snow blower in Gravenhurst, which once more took the brunt of the white. Bala, Port Carling, and Muskoka lakes were also in the path of the storm coming in from the west. Bracebridge also got hit a fair bit also. Huntsville and North Muskoka mostly survived the worst of it. Environment Canada says the storm is tailing off and moving south and should be mostly have passed through into this evening. They issued a snow-qual-ended bulletin at 4:12 p.m. As the snowfall dwindles, the temperature will dip to -13 by early tomorrow before warming up slightly by midday, though some more snow will fall again in 24 hours, it says. Nothing like the massive end of November and early December drop, which at 100 cms was more than twice that amount. The white wallop makes this the worst winter in years in this part of central Ontario. Meanwhile, Regina police have taken to X to remind drivers that it is January and roads are icy. The post comes after police say they've responded to 35 motor vehicle collisions in the past 48 hours. While roads may look clear, icy conditions still persist. Please drive safe, slow down, and make some extra time for your daily commutes, the post said. Police said that 5 of the collisions were reported as motor vehicle incidents involving injury, but added that all 35 involved at least minor injuries. The death of a rider on a snowmobile trail in southwestern Ontario is prompting calls from police and sports groups to mind the rules and take safety seriously as the snowmobiling season gets underway. Ontario Provincial Police, OPP, are investigating a crash in Huron County that killed the machine's operator on Wednesday afternoon in a farmer's field west of Brucefield. The 58-year-old man from Blue Water was ejected from his snowmobile when he hit uneven ground, said Huron County OPP Constable Craig Solden. He was taken to hospital, where he later died. You could see the tracks in the snow from the roadway, and the field was fairly flat leading up to the location where the individual came off the snowmobile, Solden said, noting police don't yet know how fast he was traveling. As snowfall continues in the area, OPP and local snowmobile groups are reminding drivers to ride safely this winter.
That's not too far away.
Snowmobiling is an off-road recreational activity that occurs in an unpredictable environment, said Karen Buratinsky, who manages the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs, OFSC, District 9, which includes Huron County. Riding a snowmobile, having a fantastic time, and returning home safely is all about making smart choices, Buratinsky said. One of those smart choices is to ride along the OFSC's maintained snowmobile trails, she said. The safest place to ride in Ontario is on a marked trail between the stakes. The OFSC sends out volunteers to maintain their trails using large pieces of equipment called groomers, which create a safe trail base by pulling in snow and packing down water, she said.
Look at my gate. I'm buried.
The group has an online interactive trail guide indicating which trails are available. Buratinsky said most of the trails are currently unavailable as they are in the grooming stage following recent snowfall. Solden said people in Huron County can also ride along the side of the road, either along the shoulder or in ditches. They can also ride on their own private property or on another person's property with explicit permission. The driver in Wednesday's crash was riding on private property, but it is unclear whether he had permission, Solden said. Speed is also a factor in safety, experts say. Riders are allowed to drive at 50 kilometers per hour on Ontario trails, but Buratinsky said people should consider their individual circumstances. That really is an upper limit, and each snowmobiler should be choosing their own personal speed depending on a number of factors, she said, listing experience, trail conditions, and weather as possible factors. Solden added it is important for snowmobile riders to ensure that they have a permit and insurance, are wearing a helmet, and are driving sober. He said OPP were out patrolling in the northern part of Huron County on Wednesday to make sure people are not driving impaired. Residents across Simcoe County and Muskoka are working hard to keep up with winter's heavy snowfall this season. Environment Canada reports the region has already received more snow this winter than the entire previous season. Dave Phillips, a senior climatologist with Environment Canada, says it's not an extreme jump from what's considered normal, but it's noticeably more than last year. The warm water temperatures in the Great Lakes are a major factor behind the heavy snow and persistent snow squalls seen so far. The last time the lakes fully froze was in 1996, which significantly impacts snow patterns. Lake-effect snow squalls have taken center stage across parts of Ontario this week, with totals piling up through the traditional snowbelt regions. These snow squalls will slowly shift eastward and weaken through the day on Wednesday, though with tricky travel conditions still a concern for impacted areas. Multiple weak low-pressure systems have also pushed through the area, bringing bursts of snow and some lighter accumulations to the Greater Toronto Area, GTA. A more widespread system snow will take aim to end this week. While totals won't be anything overly significant once again, it could be enough to slick up the roads and slow the commute at times. Drivers are urged to prepare for quickly changing and deteriorating travel conditions. Beyond a brief weekend warm-up, the coldest temperatures of the season will flood the province through much of next week. In some areas, these will be the coldest conditions in years. The lake-effect snow will gradually taper in intensity through the day on Wednesday, with an additional 5 to 10 centimeters for some areas by the time it wraps up. The worst impacts will be largely in the snowbelts, where travel will be locally challenging. That will be ahead of a weak clipper system that will track across the south, bringing some light snow and a gusty wind on Thursday. A dusting to 3 centimeters of snow is expected across the GTA with this clipper. Another low-pressure system will move through Ontario Friday night through Saturday morning, bringing a widespread snow, though with variable totals, to kick off the weekend. Between 5 to 10 centimeters of snow is forecast for northern and central Ontario and areas along the Lake Huron shorelines, while less than 5 centimeters of snow is likely for the Highway 401 corridor. The snow could mix with rain near Lake Ontario and Lake Erie.
All day here pretty well.
A warm front will shift the winds to the south, which will bring in milder temperatures for a good chunk of the province. Saturday's highs will range from +1 degree Celsius to -3 degrees Celsius, but this warm-up will be brief. Arctic air is expected for Sunday and most of next week, with the coldest conditions of the season set to flood through the province. In parts of northern Ontario, the temperatures will drop about 24 degrees Celsius in just 24 hours and roughly 30 degrees Celsius in 36 hours. The drop isn't as extreme in southern Ontario, but most areas will see a noticeable 15 degrees Celsius temperature tumble from Saturday afternoon to Sunday morning, with a chillier 20 degrees Celsius plummet expected across central regions. The first cold day will be Sunday, with the Arctic air mass staying in place until Wednesday. Several days of lake-effect snow are likely for the snowbelts next week, as well, but changeable winds should spread the snow over a larger region and prevent exceptional snow totals. Colder than normal temperatures are expected to continue into the final week of January. As we approach the beginning of February, however, and progress through the first half of the month, much milder air will surge north into the eastern U.S. and attempt to push north of the border into the region. This will bring a milder pattern, but it is too early to know whether this will actually bring an extended period of early spring-like weather, or if this will bring messy storms with an active storm track across the region.